Welcome, children. In your previous class, you have seen that Dr. Manat was released from the prison after 18 years and was living with Mr. Defarge. When Mr. Loy came to know about this, he took Lucy to meet her father. When they entered Dr. Manat's room, they found that he was a totally broken man who was making shoes. I'll discuss the rest of the lesson now. Defarge opened the half door a little further. He was in an enclosed room. We can say there was no light inside his room, inside the doctor's room. Defarge opened a half door a little further, little bit more light. He wanted to enter the room so that they could see him. A broad ray of light fell into the garret and showed the workman with an unfinished shoe upon his lap, pausing in his labor. A broad ray of light, that means as the door opened little more wide, what happened? A ray of light fell into the garret. The garret means the room at the top floor, mainly for storing things, is called a garret, and showed the workman with an unfinished shoe upon his hand. That light showed, that means when the light fell inside the room, the workman was seen and he had an unfinished shoe in his lap, pausing in his labor. His few common tools and various scraps of leather were at his feet and on his bench. Many things which are needed for a cobbler, just like a few common tools, all and so on, were there, and various scraps of leather. Scraps means small pieces of leather were at his feet and on his bench. He had a white beard, raggedly cut, but not very long. White beard, that means became very old. Raggedly cut means shabbily cut. It is not trimmed and or properly, but not very long. It is not so long. A hollow face. It became very thin and lean, so the face was not plumpy and so on. It was a hollow face and very bright eyes. His yellow rags of shirt lay open at the throat and showed his body to be withered and worn. As the top button of his shirt was not put, his body could be seen, and his body was almost withered and worn. That means he lost his vitality and energy, and it was not in good condition. He was so weak and frail that when he put up a hand between his eyes and the light, even the bones of his hand seemed transparent. He became so weak and frail, very weak and thin. When the light fell, he put his hand in front of his eyes. That time they could see the bones like that. That means he became very weak, thin, lean. And the light, even the bones of his hand seemed transparent. The bones also were able to be seen. Are you going to finish that pair of shoes today? Asked Defarge. Defarge asked him then, are you going to finish that pair of shoes today? As a signal to Mr. Lorry to come forward, asking him this, he gave the sign for Mr. Lorry to come forward. What did you say? The man asked, what did you say? Do you mean to finish that pair of shoes today? Are you going to finish that pair of shoes today? I suppose so. I don't know. I think I will be able to finish, but I am not sure of it. I don't know. But the question reminded him of his work and he bent over it again. What's the question? Are you going to finish this work? When he heard that, he remembered, yes, I have to finish this work, and he bent over it again. He started doing the work. Mr. Lorry came silently forward, leaving Lucy next to the door of the little room. Lorry came forward and Lucy stayed back there. You have a visitor, you see, said Monsieur Defarge. Defarge told Doctor, you have a visitor. What did you say? Here is a visitor, repeated Monsieur Defarge. Defarge said, here is a visitor for you. The shoemaker looked up as before, but without removing a hand from his work. He was going on doing the work and looked up. Come, said Defarge. Here is a monsieur who knows a well-made shoes when he sees one. Here is a person who is able to say whether the shoe is a perfect one or not, a very good one or not. Show him that shoe you are working at. You please show him. He will be able to say whether it is an excellent shoe or not. Take it, Monsieur. Mr. Lorry took it in his hand. He took that shoe in his hand. Tell Monsieur what kind of shoe it is and the maker's name. Please tell me what kind of shoe it is and the maker's name. There was a longer pause than usual before the shoemaker replied. I forget what it was you asked me. What did you say? What did you ask me? I said, how did you describe the kind of shoe for Monsieur's information? Defarge said, will you please describe what kind of shoe it is? Because he wants to know about it. Doctor said, it's a lady's shoe. It's a young lady's walking shoe, said the man. Now doctor said, it's a lady's shoe and it's a young lady's walking shoe. And the maker's name? Said Defarge. Defarge asked then, what is the maker's name? Now that he had no work to hold, the man laid the knuckles of his right hand in the hollow of his left hand and then the knuckles of the left hand in the hollow of the right and then passed a hand across his bearded chin. Now, he doesn't have any shoe in his hand. So what he did? He laid the knuckles of the right hand. That means the joints in the fingers, that part is called knuckles. The man laid the knuckles of the right hand in the hollow of his left hand and then the knuckles of the left hand in the hollow of the right and then passed a hand across his bearded chin. Put his hand also, that means passed his hand across his bearded chin. Do you ask me for my name? That means, did you ask me for my name? Maker's name you are asking? Surely I did. Sure, yes, I want to know your name. 105, North Tower. When the name was asked, what did he say? 105, North Tower. Is that all? The person asked. 105, North Tower. That is my name. With a deep sigh, he bent to work again until the silence was again broken. Again he started working. You are not a shoemaker by trade, said Mr. Lorry, looking straight at him. Looking at him, Mr. Lorry said, you are not a shoemaker by trade. Before you were not that means you were not trained in that field. You were not at all a shoemaker by trade, said Mr. Lorry, looking straight at him. The tired, sorrowful eyes turned to Mr. Lorry. When he said so, he looked at Mr. Lorry. I am not a shoemaker by trade. I am not at all a shoemaker by trade. No, I was not a shoemaker by trade. I learned it here. I learned the shoemaking here. I taught myself. Nobody taught me. I taught myself. I asked permission to learn, to do something. Simply sitting I did not like, so I asked permission from the officers and I got the permission and I am doing. The man's voice faded away. He sat quietly gazing at the floor. His voice faded away. He did not talk much. He sat quietly gazing at the floor. Just looking at the floor, he sat. Then slowly, as if waking from a sleep, he looked up again and continued speaking in a low voice. In a low voice, he started speaking. I asked leave to teach myself. I got permission to teach myself. And I got it with much difficulty after a long while, and I have made shoes ever since. Once I got permission, I started making it, and now also I am doing it. Then he held out his hand for the shoe that had been taken from him. So please give me the shoe. That expression was there. Monsieur Manette, do you remember nothing of me? Asked Mr. Lorry. You look at me And do you remember anything about me? Mr. Lorry asked him.